PPS43C. This is the pistol version of the original submachine gun, which was the PPS43, used by the Russians, designed by the Russians during World War II. And the PP43 was actually an upgrade from the PPS42. And the PPS42 was made as a replacement to the PPSH41. Now, the PPSH41 was a really effective machine gun with a really high rate of fire, using the 7.62 by 2.5 Tokarev cartridge. These were excellent for close quarter, urban fighting. It was excellent for forest fighting. The PPSH41, though, was very expensive and slow to manufacture. So the PPS was developed as a lightweight, collapsible stock, fully automatic machine gun that would go great with armored crews, great with support personnel, and also reconnaissance units. Plus, it was about half the time to manufacture, and it used about half the steel. So it was a win-win all the way around. It was very reliable, and these were really favored by many of the troops. Now, of course, the gun is safety checked, no magazine, no rounds in the chamber. These are now currently being made in Radom, Poland, by the Radom plant. And they're made for importation. They're semi-automatic. The originals were only full automatic. Now, these are being imported by IO Inc. out of Monroe, North Carolina. And in fact, Uli Vegan is a good buddy of mine, and he sent this for me to do the review on. Now, the company making these, even though they're made at the Radom plant in Poland, is Pioneer Arms. And right here on the receiver, it says Pioneer Arms Corporation, Radom, Poland. And then here, IO Inc., Monroe, North Carolina. And they sell these things really quickly. So as long as these are coming into the country, it's a great time to be able to pick up one of these incredible pistols, which I think is kind of funny for a pistol. We're going to do some demonstration views on it, and I'll tell you what, I really like the way this thing is balanced and it feels. So now, before I get into a lot of the specifics of the gun, you do get the gun itself, the pistol, and you do get a really nice sling, which I'm going to demonstrate that in just a little bit. It did come with 4 magazines. You get 1 with the gun and then 3 extras, and this really nice canvas pouch that has belt loops. You also get this oil bottle and a cleaning kit with a tool on the end, even a sight tool. So this is just a neat little setup, little package that you get complete with the rifle. I think these are running from IO Inc. about $350. So it's really a great buy for something that's this legendary and just an incredible piece of history. And one of the things I definitely want to mention about these type guns, and I've watched it over and over the past few years, is just like the SKS came in at $59 a piece, and now they're running about $350. If you can find them, they're starting to dry up. Any of these old surplus weapons or weapons of this type, once they start coming into the country and they dry up, the price goes up, up, up. So this is an excellent investment along with any, whether it's the CZ52 or the old Tokarev pistols, just an excellent investment. And with commercial ammunition being developed, that is a big bonus as well. Now, there is a folding stock across the top. This has been welded. You can see right here there's a little spot weld to keep this in place. I think it would not be too difficult to have the spot weld removed and be able to use this stock if you wanted to make this a SBR, or a small barreled rifle. If you do that, you've got to pay a $200 tax. Don't unweld this unless you're willing to pay the $200 tax, or you're going to be against NFA rules, which can land you 10 years in prison. Now, the reason for that is that this barrel is about 10 inches long, and you need, the minimum rifle length for a barrel is 16 inches. So anything short of that is considered a pistol. And a pistol with a stock is illegal unless you pay a $200 tax stamp. Of course, there are sights. The rear sight here actually flips down and allows for 100 and 200 meter increments. The front sight post, as you can see, it's covered with these ears, protective ears, to keep it safe. But you can also adjust this for your elevation. And windage can also be adjusted on the front sight. Of course, it does have an unusual muzzle brake here, and what this does, it deflects the gases to the side and rearward, and this really does help with recoil. Has this really cool ventilated system that goes over the barrel. It really gives this a really neat look. The finish and the bluing on this is really high. I mean, it is a military grade type finish, but even then, there are obviously some machining marks and things like that. But really, as far as this type rifle, it does give you a sense of quality. Of course, here you have your bolt. It really comes back really slick. The safety is actuated right here. Forward is fire. You pull it back, and that puts the rifle on safe. This also locks the bolt, so if the safety's on, the bolt will not be able to be pulled back. Pull the safety forward, pull your bolt back. The safety also acts as a slide lock, and you can pull the bolt all the way to the rear, and you've really got to keep it to the rear. Pull your safety all the way forward, and it really takes a little bit of some pull to get that in the right position to hold this closed. The safety position is not quite as far back, but to hold the bolt you need to go just a little extra or the bolt will slide forward. And then to release your bolt, push your safety forward and then let it ride. The magwell itself is an open design. Mag goes in. Here's your release right here. It's very intuitive, very ergonomic. You can see here where the catch is. The mag release is protected by these ears, so you're not going to inadvertently release your magazine. But it's natural to grab the magazine, take your thumb, pull down, and pull out. And then vice versa. When inserting a mag, you want to make sure you hear solid click. And the grip is made from a hard plastic that actually covers the entire part of this tang. The rear sling attachments right here toward the rear, this is adjustable with leather, and then you have your canvas. Your front is also adjustable with this buckle system, also fully adjustable. I don't know what it is about the PP43C. Man, this firearm just fits in the right place. It's just really balanced, easy to bring forward. I can see why it was a favorite among the troops. Now the 7.62 by 2.5 Tokarev ammunition is extremely powerful ballistically. Now this was made for a submachine gun, and the ballistics on this are anywhere from 1,600 to 1,700 feet per second. So it is really moving fast. And there is a lot of this ammunition available. This is just some surplus ammunition, but Winchester makes it, of course Golden Bear. There's a lot of other companies. Seller and Ballet is making some of these as well. As you can see, it is kind of a necked down cartridge from a .30 caliber. The ballistics on these are really excellent. With it having commercial ammunition, that makes it even more viable to be able to find ammunition for this. At one point, there was a lot of surplus ammunition coming in really cheap, but most of that's dried up. Now, of course, this was developed as a machine gun caliber, but it also fits many of the Tokarev pistols that were designed by most of the Soviet bloc nations, and it also fits the recently imported CZ52. The same ammunition, so you could even have a standard sidearm along with your weapon and make it a great combination. Here, I bought this at the local gun show, and it was $16.59. I've seen it for around $15 for $50 and on up to about $20 according to the type, brand ammunition you're buying. So it's not extremely expensive. It's not cheap like some of the other even 9mm and some of that, but it's not a whole lot more expensive. And really, for the performance you're getting, there is a lot to be said about the 7.62 by 2.5. The Finns actually made a version of this as the M44, which did fire the 9mm caliber. The 7.62 by 25 Tokarev ammunition is really high velocity ammunition, very similar to the 357 SIG. Now the 357 SIG is a little bit of a heavier bullet, but the 7.62 by 2.5 also compares similar to the 10mm. Loads pretty easy. Looks somewhat similar to the 357 SIG round. Now to disassemble the firearm, there's a lever right here on the back, and you just push it in and then the top just raises off, so the receiver just raises up. Of course, here's the lower receiver, and you see your hammer fire control system here, and then the upper part of the receiver has this chrome bolt and then your recoil spring. Now the way to take this bolt out is pretty simple. Just bring it back and then just pull it straight out. The recoil spring comes out just by lifting and then pulling out. Here there is a buffer system, and this will probably need to be replaced after a certain period of time. Here everything can be cleaned pretty simply. It's a very open design. The recoil spring, when fitted back, there's a hole here with your firing pin through it, and you're going to take the slot with the recoil spring and just set it back into that groove. Then we're going to take the end of the recoil spring, bring it all the way down and under and then up. And you're going to be pulling back on the bolt back into place. Pretty easy, pretty simple to reinstall. And you want to take care when you're working on this, because the upper and lower receiver will swing, and so you don't want that to close on your fingers. Also, if the hammer is forward, you're going to need to bring it back to close your action. When you're closing, you're going to want to depress this part right here on the lower receiver to be able to mate it to the upper receiver, and then it's all set. Of course, you want to bring your bolt back just to function test. The weight of the firearm is just over 7 pounds without the magazine unloaded. It's 24 inches in length, 2.5 inches here at the receiver area, and with the bolt it's about 3 inches in width. So it's a very narrow firearm, and again, that makes it easy to be able to sling over your shoulder.
This is awesome, baby.
Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.
The PPS43 rocks.
And these were designed to replace the PP41. That's a lot of stuff to think about. And of course, for the pistols, there are a few pistols out there. Of course, the Tokarev, the CZ, whatever it was.
Meet my new concealed carry piece. You got a holster that'll fit it, I'll wear it.